Hey all, I thought I'd put together a little bit of a different video for you tonight in the hopes that maybe it'll help some people out there. When I'm hanging up framed art or just generally working around the workshop, hanging shelves or putting things together, these are some of the tools that I use. This is a relatively new one that I got, but the rest of them I've been using for quite a while, so I thought you might find it interesting. There's many different types of hammers, of course. One of the things I like about this one is the fact that you can basically start it from the side. If you're dealing with a very, very small area, you basically would have the nail sticking out here. The other thing that's really cool is there's multiple magnets on the front here. So let's say you're trying to hammer something that you can't hold the actual nail down. You can actually just put it in there, tap it in, and then continue to start it. This is by Hart, H-A-R-T. So it's just super handy. The next thing that's kind of nice is a magnetic stud finder. So this is probably the least techy thing you can imagine, but it's amazingly helpful. So, for instance, I know there's a stud sort of in this area somewhere, and hopefully, there we go. So, there's actually a nail. So the way that it works for walls, again, some of you may already know this, but just in case you don't, is you basically have studs that are running up and down, usually about 16 inches apart, and then you have on top of that the drywall, and that is nailed in place usually, and then usually tape and then all painted up. So what this is actually sticking to is it means that there's a stud there that's going up and down, and this is really useful in addition to just finding the stud really fast. It's nice because it means that if you know where the nail is, you know that you don't want to actually be nailing or screwing something in because you're just going to hit metal there rather. So that's super nice. So let's actually leave this there. It has a little level. I think it's like about $10 or so, which is handy. You do up, down, sideways, all that kind of stuff. Then the next thing we have, this is by Franklin, I believe. This is just a wood stud finder with a level on it. This one's super handy because for some of the stud finders, you basically have to trace it and draw lines to figure out where the studs are. This actually has nice little lights at the top. So as I slide this, you can see where the center of the stud is, and then the left and the right, and then where the fall off is. So it's a super nice, easy way to be able to tell where the stud is. And if I go in the same spot here, you can see that's where the stud is there. But this is just super nice, nice, easy way to be able to see where it is. It's also super helpful if you're dealing with weird corners where it's not going to be spaced 16 inches apart. So yeah, it's super nice. Little leveler there. Next thing that I have that I use a lot for this type of stuff, this is supposed to be air grip. It's been a long time since it's actually stuck to a wall, but basically what this is it's loud, but when I turn this on, it'll shoot a laser out, so you're able to basically use that in conjunction with the levelers here to find out where your straight line is. Let me see if I can... There. That's cool. Turn that off. Oh my god. There we go. But what's nice is you can actually shoot it around corners and such with glass. So if you're trying to line up a bunch of stuff, super handy. This one's called an air grip, but laser level would be just sort of a general term. And then this is the new one that I got. This is by Bosch. This is basically supposed to be a stud finder, and it does that. But one of the things I got it for are these other two buttons, which are very important to me. Metal finder, both ferrous and non-ferrous, and then live AC wire. So it will only find the wires if there's a current running through it. So if you want to find that out, you have to make sure that your switches are on or fans or whatever. For the metal, it'll find anything, which is really nice. I think this goes, I'd have to look what the stats are, but something up to like 2 to 4 inches deep. So I'd actually had problems here because, it's a parrot, sorry. There's a stud that goes up and down, and I was planning on nailing into that, but definitely hit metal at some point, so I was able to use this. And if I go down here, so green is just basically tell me, turn the lights here. There we go. It's calibrating. Oops, I have an electrical signal, that's why. There we go. I'm not gonna do that. There we go. And light. Oh, it's the angle that I'm at. Oh, let me see if I can turn this light off to make it so you guys can see it. There you go. So you can see right now the green's telling us that like it's good, and then it turns kind of like a yellowish color to let you know there's something that's metal that's nearby. And if you continue going over, it finds it right in there. So that tells me there's actually a piece of metal. And when I actually looked up the blueprints for the house, it ends up that there's a vent pipe from the water heater that is here. So that's what I tapped. Actually turn the sound off, but yeah, it's kind of hard for me to be able to do this at the same time. But much like the other one, if you use it for like a stud finder, it's kind of neat. As you go closer to it, it'll tell you it found a stud, and then as you go closer and closer and closer, if you hit the bottom there, it'll be able to tell you when it's centered. There we go. So you can see it's saying that it's centered on the stud. If you look up, sure enough, it's centered on the stud. The other thing that's cool on this is the live electrical. So if I go over here, I have a light switch here, so I know that there's electrical running to it. And I was trying to figure out actually where that was running through, and earlier I actually found it. It's down here. So I would know that there is live wire there, and not that I would be hanging a picture right here, but that I don't want to hang a picture there, or anything, or drill, or anything else. But overall, it's just nice having a good assortment. I mean, I feel like these are all sort of things that you use in conjunction with one another. So, you know, you can use this stud finder or the blue one to find out where the stud is. You can use this then to find out where the nails are for the stud. And then you can use things like this, particularly ones that are pretty deep, because you definitely want to be able to see, you know, figure out how deep your walls are. Most are going to be around 4 inches deep. Some are going to actually be 2x6s, so they're going to be significantly deeper. So having one like this that'll do about 4 inches will give you a good idea if there's pipes running through your walls, if there's metal electrical conduits, or any of that kind of stuff. But anyways, I just hope that helps. While it's generally pretty easy to, you know, figure out where the center of a wooden stud is, I think it's also really important just to be aware that there's a lot of other stuff that's running. If you have ceiling fans or lights in your ceiling or any of that type of stuff, that means there almost certainly is a wire running somewhere in the room, and you just never know how careful people were when they installed it, if they put the wire in a smart spot or not. So yeah, just be safe. Let me know if stuff like this is useful, and have a great evening.